So after the live auction, the next thing you should do for fundraising is pretty much the last thing you should do, and that is the paddle raise. When you are asking your guests to raise their paddle on behalf of your organization and spend money without getting anything back. It has really become probably the most successful part of any live auction, any event these days, is the paddle raise. And it really is all about timing, because now we are getting to the end of your event and people are getting anxious to get up and walk around, maybe have to use the restroom. So timing is so critical to being successful at the paddle raise. Once the live auction is completed, the next thing that should happen is what I call the plea. And the plea is the person or video who gets up and makes a description as to what we are raising money for. That plea should be 2 to 3 minutes, no longer than 5. I can tell you on many experiences that if you go past 5 minutes, you will lose the crowd. It does not take long to let people know what you are raising that money for. The best pleas will get to the emotion. If everybody is crying in the room when I come to that point in time, we're going to make lots of money. If everybody is laughing when we get there, we're going to make lots of money. Kids always are a great way to deal with emotion. A good video is a great way to keep your time proper and to show all that you want. So now we have to decide what we're going to ask for. What are the levels of giving that we're going to ask our guests to give? There's this big fear about crickets in the room when you ask for a big dollar amount and nobody raises their paddle, and everybody's going to get uncomfortable and it's going to ruin the rest of the paddle raise. I'm not afraid of crickets, and you shouldn't be afraid of crickets as well. Because if you don't ask, you don't get. And the time it takes to ask for a dollar amount takes 10, 15 seconds at the most.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next amount is $5,000. If you'd like to make a contribution of $5,000, we've got a hand up right over here.
And as long as you don't keep trying to get somebody to give that big dollar, it doesn't matter. So what I suggest is, if you have a donor in your organization that you know that's going to be there, and let's just say they're willing to give $10,000. Well, let's start at 20. Crickets! Don't worry about it. I would say 1/5 of the time when I ask for the bigger number, I get the bigger number.
There's the second one right over there. The McGraths and the Brady's have stepped up with a donation of $10,000 each. We appreciate it very much. We've got a volunteer coming up right behind you, Lori. Anyone else at the $10,000 level?
I will always remember one of my early events that I ever did. We started at $5,000 and we got lots and lots of donors. It was great. We were so happy about it. And then one person came up to me after the event was over and said, Steve, if you would have asked for 20, I would have given you 20, but you only asked for 5. And I said, well, of course, how about if you give 20? And he said, sorry, Steve, you only asked for 5. You must ask, otherwise you don't get. So don't be afraid. Now, we don't want to go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, how about 500,000, 250,000, 100,000, 50,000, 25, 10. By the time we get down to 5, now we finally have a bid paddle up. We want to be reasonable in the requests that we have, so we want to work through it, but don't be afraid to ask for big things.
Contribution so far, that is outstanding.